The strange thing is, the moment you genuinely stop giving a shit about something, it tends to just turn up. Relationships you stop chasing, opportunities you've written off because you put too much thought into it. You've even got that one friend who disappears for months that randomly messages you the second you've forgotten they exist. It's truly amazing how these things happen when you really think about it. And I'm not gonna sit here and waffle on about manifestation, positive thinking, or some shit about how the universe has a plan for you. We all have our own beliefs regarding that crap. I'm talking about something a lot more ordinary. When you really want something, it seems like we have this anti-superpower of just throwing it away. Not literally, of course, but in excitement. You get too keen. You're replying instantly to that girl you just matched with on Tinder. Overthinking every possible interaction. Putting up with situations that make you feel miserable just because at least it's something. And people pick up on that, whether they like to admit it or not. When you want something really bad, you're operating from fear. You're not choosing or thinking about your decision, you're just grabbing it like it's the first time you've ever seen a breast that isn't your mother's. It's like when you go food shopping when you're absolutely Hank Marvin. Suddenly everything just looks delish. Hunger ruins your standards. But when you've already eaten, you shop a lot differently, don't you? You're a lot fussier. And funnily enough, that same thing happens in relationships, careers, friendships, and literally every aspect of your life. Not wanting something doesn't mean, just giving up on your life and becoming a bloody monk, as much as monks do seem remarkably unbothered by everything. It just means reaching a point where you'd be kind of fine either way, where your happiness isn't hanging entirely on the outcome working out. That's when the shift in your life happens. People can genuinely tell when you no longer need them. They can sense that you're comfortable in your own life, and suddenly you're not just another option to them, you're someone with a bit of oomph, someone who isn't trying to just be chosen or saved. I think there's something quietly attractive about people who seem settled in their own skin. Not because they've stopped wanting things, but because they're not looking for someone else to rescue them from their own mess. The irritating part is that you can't fake this. It's just not possible. Your subconscious has this magical way of just giving you away in how you communicate, how you listen to others, the questions that you ask people. Those people can tell when you're pretending not to care versus when you genuinely don't care. One is confidence, the other one's like this shitty performance art. And if it isn't obvious already, the people who are genuinely comfortable in their own skin don't just sit there with a mass amount of egotistical ignorance. Other people's opinions just don't control their lives. I learned this the long way round, I guess you could say. I spent years trying to appear relaxed about things I desperately wanted. Thought if I acted casual enough, life would just reward me for being such a chill guy. But it never did, because underneath was the same slop. I was just wearing like a nicer jacket of bullshit. The real change comes when you build a life you don't feel the need to escape from or explain to anyone else. When other people and opportunities stop being your emergency exits and start being downloadable game content. When you invest into your interests, your friendships, and even your own space, and you actually start enjoying being on your own. This is why people say the best relationships happen when you're not looking. Not because fate has like this sick and twisted sense of humor, though it absolutely fucking does, but because when you're not looking, you're usually in a decent place already. You're not asking someone else to fix things for you. I've mentioned this before, but when I was working a real job at a hotel after working the majority of my teenage life online, I was essentially on the brink of being an incel. Maybe that is a bit of an extreme, but I hadn't really had my slay-ho phase, if that makes any sense. And I was just like this disgusting slob that just reeked of anxiety. I'd had maybe one actual girlfriend in my life up until this point, and I really did not want another one. So I guess I gained a little bit of confidence, I washed my balls more than once a week, and attempted this hoe phase, which ended up with me finding my current partner. I as well did not believe that something like this was possible. But with that being said, there is a less comforting version of this too. Sometimes we stop wanting things not because we're content, but because we're tired. We've had enough of it, mate. We call it growth, like, oh, we're doing something magical here. Like, I don't give a shit, me, mate. But in reality, it's just a form of protecting ourselves from disappointment. We tell ourselves we don't want closeness. I never want to touch skin with another person again. Yeah, no, anything good in life. I don't want a connection with anyone, me, mate. But in reality, it's just a big load of, oh, feel sorry for me. Oh, God, look at my fucking shit life. In reality, we're just trying not to be disappointed again. The difference between healthy detachment and emotional shutdown is very subtle. but it truly matters. Healthy detachment comes from fulfillment. You've essentially just got enough. You're happy. You don't feel the need for more. Whereas defensive numbness just comes from exhaustion. Genuinely not wanting something means you'd be pleased if it worked out, but also at the same time, you'd be completely fine if it didn't. No hoping in secret, no mental scorekeeping, no pretending not to care while caring very deeply. You're just kind of getting on with it. And trust me, I know it's a frustrating lesson, one I still cannot fully wrap my head around, but it's a truly needed one. The best way to attract things isn't to need them, it's to build a life solid enough that they can become an option. Because when you want nothing to save you, you've already got what really matters. I dropped these videos earlier on Spotify, so if you want to watch them like a day earlier, go follow my Spotify. It's in the top line of the description. And thanks for watching.